Hurricane Ian victims are trying to return to as much of a normal routine as possible. That includes a simple act of voting. News 13's Carly Horn tells us Bay County Election Supervisor Mark Anderson knows better than anyone what it's like to try and conduct an election during the disaster that happened in Southwest Florida.
The general election process in Florida is already underway. Most election offices begin mailing ballots to voters in late September. Governor Ron DeSantis is trying to keep the process on track in Southwest Florida, issuing an executive order that, among other things, extends early voting up until Election Day.
The executive order is a good thing because it allows you to do what you need to do, and you have the authority to do it.
Florida is no stranger to the hurricane season, and Supervisor of Election Mark Anderson says Florida is always overly prepared in case a devastation happens during election time. Anderson was forced to get creative after Hurricane Michael devastated Bay County in 2018. He says the Southwest will face issues, some of the same obstacles in finding polling places and having enough precinct workers. Anderson says to this day, all of the Bay County's polling locations still aren't repaired.
Well, and that's the other thing. Can you go into a condemned building and cast a ballot? No, you can't use the buildings.
Anderson also had to deal with 3 statewide recounts in 2018. 2 years ago, the legislature failed to take action on legislation to allow more voting options.
So here we are again in Florida with that situation that if it already would have been in statute or allowed to some extent, we wouldn't need the executive order to do the process. We would still, communicate with the division, get approval, identify specifically what would be done. But again, it wouldn't require the executive order.
In Panama City, Carly Horn, News 13, Panhandle Strong.
Even after Michael, Bay County had a near-record voter turnout. Anderson says he has no doubt voter turnout will be solid in the areas that have been damaged by Ian.